Hi, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who don't know me, I'll tell you that my name is Jenny. I am the owner of a company named SoulMother in Sweden, southern part of Sweden, where I do yoga, coaching classes, I do workshops, I do healing and different things like that. I also channel and I do light work and light language, galactical language, and things like that. I am a code keeper, a code bearer, and I open I open portals for higher consciousness to enter into people, places, things, depending on where it is. So it's a way of sort of raising the frequency, opening up to a higher level of being, functioning, or existing, sort of. That's among some of the things that I do. And so in this YouTube channel of mine, I speak much more about all of these things than I do in my everyday life, because I have actually been I have been afraid of what will people think of me. Is this too strange? Is this too weird? How will they approach me, and so on? And I've been trying to fit in, and if you've heard any of my other videos, I talk about that sometimes, of how not fitting in is the sort of new reality. And new reality, what do I mean by that? What I would say that a new reality is what we're stepping into. We have been in the old reality. We know that. All of us know it. And so many of us are sick and tired, deadly of it. Systems are changing. They are crumbling around us. Political system, financial system, school system. We are new things are coming into reality, like AI. It's been here for some time, and now more and more everyday life people will find that, oh wow, I find AI, this is helpful like this, but it's frightening like that, and maybe I will lose my job, or maybe I will get another type of the job, and it opens up all of these fears and things in us, or opportunities in us, and hopes and excitements in us. And well, really, I don't really have a perfect, like, this is what I'm going to talk about today. So I don't have a perfect topic, so I'll just see where the message goes, and if you follow me along the message, you'll just find where it goes, and you'll pick out the seeds that are important for you. Okay, I like that one, I like that one, no, I don't want that one. And that is what I encourage you to do with every message you hear, whether they are channeled, whether they are from teachers or speakers or intuitives or, well, politicians or whatever, scientists. You find it within you, in the space that you are now, to pick out the seeds that are suitable for you. And some of the seeds will be like, oh, perfect, I've been longing for that seed or that plant. Wow, now I'm really ready for this to enter into my system, to grow within me, and to become something big. And some of the things that you hear from people like me or others, will be like, well, I don't know what to do with that, so I'll just put it somewhere in my conscious, sort of like a desk in my consciousness. I'll put it here in that drawer for later. I don't know what to do with it now, but maybe later I will. And when later comes, if it's 3 weeks later or 2 years or 50 years or 1 hour, you will find that, okay, this was really interesting, by the way, I remember this woman talked about it. Or no, this one, okay, so I'll just drop it. Then you know what to do with it. And other things you will just immediately discourage and feel like, nah, that's not for me. And I really want you to use your discernment. I want you to use your ability to choose for yourself, what reality do you want to live in? What kind of vibration do you want to keep? Where is your home moment? Where is your home now, in this ever-changing now? Where can you anchor into something that would be called home, or would be called safe ground, or ground zero, or a platform to stand steady on? That is something for us to figure out, because in the old, we have been taught we need to think like that, do like this is not important, this is important. And people that are like that, we should choose them, or people that are not, or that they are like this, they should be discarded, or we should, well, something, we need to change ourselves, or we can only trust the experts, because the experts out there, they know exactly what is right for you or for us. That is sort of the old world. And many of us are sick and tired of it. We have done it, and it's not something that we think of. Oh, I'm sick and tired of all these experts. It's something vibrationally within us that we just know there is something more to listen to. And some of the experts, we feel like, wow, this person is really an expert to me. I feel that's a trustworthy person. But that person might not be considered an expert in the eyes of society, or science, or economy, or, well, schooling or something. But to me, I feel that this person is an expert on something that I long for, something that I need. And I really want you to start owning your own ability to decide what is there for you, where is the resonance for you. And it is a balance. I don't think any one of us has the answers, because we are in this time. It's a very, very fluctuating would be the word, fluctuating time. And the frequencies are all over the place, and timelines are just like zoop. And we are moving between all of these things many times a day. And the more we can choose timelines and activities, or resonances, or frequencies that levitate us, that harmonizes us, that makes us feel calm, or happy, or joyful, or inspired, or proud of ourselves, like, wow, I really did that, amazing, yay, finally. Or that it was something that raises us. Those are the things to look for in everyday life, whether it is the slow walk with the dog, or it is the chirping of the birds, or it is listening to some kind of, well, podcast or YouTube channel, or whatever is there that might levitate you. Or if you go for a swim, or if you have this great conversation with a very inspiring person, or a teacher, or a friend, or a family member, or you just play with your cat, or a grandchild, or friend, something that raises your vibration, raises your energy. Look for that in your everyday life, and move towards it. Either you have, like, set an intention, set a goal for you. Where do you want to be in a month's time? Where do you want to see yourself in a 3-year time? Or could be a short or a long time thing. So you could go towards that, and every day you look for the small things that raises your vibration. So this is the recipe for us to follow. And this recipe, of course, it looks totally different for different people. And there is no right and wrong. And because the recipe looks like this, of course, there will be different people in different situations that we will relate to as experts, as good or as bad. And some channels of information that will bring more to us, and some channels that will bring less to us. And whenever we feel like heavy, tired, down, and discouraged, or blaming or ashamed ourselves, or ashamed of someone else, or blaming that should not have happened, this person should not have done this, or blah blah blah, or whenever we're struggling and striving, and whenever we feel we need to put on a performance or an act or something, and we're not in our own essence, whenever something is a struggle, or when we need to use force, well, then it's something that's contracting us, making us smaller, making us into density. We become more and more dense beings. That is what I call the old world. That's how I feel the old world to be. And maybe you feel that too, or maybe you feel it differently, and it doesn't matter. You relate to it whatever way you do. And I relate to it whatever way I do. And I'm not telling you that my reality is your reality. I'm just here showing you one way of experiencing reality, and I'm just sharing with you things that feels alive to share at the moment, and you will pick out the pieces of information that is there for you, whether it's a full-grown plant or if it's just a little seed that might spurt into life, or might just fall away into dry soil, or that you actually give away to someone else. Because many of the things that we share with each other doesn't necessarily mean that they end up in our own sort of soil or plant or pot, that we just hear it and we pass it forward to someone else. That, oh, I just heard the other day someone speaking about, maybe that's something for you to look into or to receive. And then that person will just say, wow, perfect, thank you, that was exactly right for me in this moment. So we just pass that seed forward, and this is beautiful. And there was something in me alive about we have all of these questions, like how do we jump timelines, and what does it mean to do that? How can we fast forward ourselves into the reality that we long for every day? Like how do we fast forward into the magical essence, the magical life that we know is possible to manifest? I mean, many of us, most people that find this video, for example, have probably heard of The Secret and the laws of attractions and manifestations and things like that. And so how do we get there? Why is it sort of not here in this moment now? Why is it not here when we know that it's possible for us and we sort of understand it, but why can we not just pull it into reality? And I think it's different things that are stopping us from pulling into reality what we want. But many of us spiritual people, we tend to think that, well, spirituality is one thing and physical life is another thing. And especially if we are ashamed of us being spiritual beings and trying to pretend to be normal when we walk along, well, amongst the other people in society, in our workspace, in our schooling systems, in our neighborhood, and in our family, maybe we don't feel comfortable in sharing all of these things that, for example, now I'm talking about. And like, if you are one of those people that wants to talk about these things and listen to them and also wants to share, and maybe you don't do that because you're afraid of what will the other ones think. I have been like that. I have been very much like that. And it's just recently I'm crumbling the barrier, the terror barrier that I've been feeling of doing this kind of sharing, talking about this, and creating a safe space for me, within me, to feel safe enough and to stand tall and proud in society, in my neighborhood, in my store and in my shop, being this person that channels light and codes and healing frequencies and messages, being a wisdom keeper, being the essence of who I am, not hiding it, but it's really quite present. So many people of us, we are hiding it, and we are claiming, yeah, well, I'm just normal. I don't do any of those things. No, and we just do it with our friends or something. And oh, where was I walking with that? I don't really remember, but I was talking about all of these questions that we have, and first, there's a fear in me that, okay, so if I'm a teacher, because I know I have a teacher soul, and so if I'm the teacher, then I should have all the answers for the questions that might arise in the students around me, if I have students. But anyhow, so I don't think of having students, but just to use some kind of word. So then maybe I should be able to answer the answers, answer the questions. And I don't have all the answers. And I realized, because within me I just found the vibration to some of the things that I was curious of. I just found them when I sort of quieted the chitter-chatter of the mind that was going on about things being in a certain way, or that I needed something, or it just sort of calmed down, like into me, and the me that I feel, it's sort of in the presence of my heart and in my body. And we need to come into our body. We can't just let the body out. Okay, so I'm spiritual, so I'm just going to be on a meditational journey all the time, and I will just have all of these insights and visions. That's where life is beautiful. That's when I enjoy life. And every time I come back into my body and into my reality and into my house and room and work and neighborhood and things, then it's just heavy stuff, and I don't want to be here. But we are here. We chose to be here. We chose to come here to have a human experience, and we chose to have it fully. And fully means also bringing in the body, bringing in the physical experience of having a body, having a physical reality, like having the plants around us, having the air, having the light, having the electricity, having the wire, having the radiations, having the foods, the goods and the bads, and also the feelings that many of us are trying to escape from, like shame and blame and all of things that we're trying to just run away from, escape from. Many of us, I have been. I know I've been trying to run away from many things. Oops, sorry, I'm sitting on a bench and it's a bit wobbly. And so, but if we're not running away from the physical reality, but if we're embracing our physical body, and if we're embracing our physical reality and the emotions that are here for us, and understanding that the mind is a tool. But when we drop into the presence within, or to drop into our own essence or our own being, or dropping into consciousness, not when we try to understand things with the mind, because that's what I saw when I had all these questions. I saw, okay, so my mind is trying to understand things, and so that's where it becomes a bit of a struggle to me, and that's where I think from the mind I'm going to answer the questions that my so-called students might have, because if I'm a teacher, I should be able to do that. As I said, that was my thinking. That's my programming. That is what I have been thinking that teachers do, or should be able to do. And then I just realized, okay, so I'm just trying from the mind, But if I stop trying from the mind, from the intellect, from the schooling, from the linear me of then, now, future, explanation here, explanation there, this far. If I stop doing that with the mind, then, and if I just access consciousness, then I know the vibration of what I need to understand sort of comes into my understanding, my being, or the questions fall apart, fall away, or the people or the book or the course or the something, vision, dream, food, whatever, will start coming into my reality. But it will happen when I access consciousness, when I access my essence and my presence and my being. And that's where I want to bring you with this video. I want to bring you into knowing that your presence, your consciousness is enough. And when it's not enough, it is not because you are not enough, and it's not because you have some kind of, well, lesser connection or something. It is because you have stepped into the mind, and you have stepped into the intellect and the mind, and from there you're trying to access things that are multidimensional, and they cannot be explained fully from only one dimension. And that's how I feel the mind. It's, oh, hello wasp. Thank you for your visit. And so when we are in the mind, I feel that's a very flat way. It doesn't access the fullness and the richness of what is present for us to access. And we have that, all of us. So why is it I hear a question? So why is it like I hear the question saying that, so why, Jenny, do you have access to that and I don't have that access, for example? And or why does this other person have access to it but I don't have that access? Well, I would say you do have the access, but we tend to compare ourselves with each other, and especially in the beginning when we're not fully anchored into who we are or fully anchored into our own abilities of what is there for us, we compare ourselves to others, and we say, so this person is a psychic, or that person is a sprinter, or this person is a economy something, or that and so from how they do things, we try to compare how we do things, and we try to maybe copy. In the beginning, we are learning by copying. Like small children, they learn to walk by also copying adults and siblings and older children that have learned to walk or to talk. We copy. That's how we do it in the beginning. And then eventually we find our own way of doing it, and we find it. So if you feel like, okay, so how come I cannot do it but you can? It's because you think, now I'm just telling you that you think something, and I'm not meaning that to tell anyone anything, but just to give some kind of example that it's possible that you think my way of doing whatever, or this other person's way of doing that is the right way of doing it. So if I'm not hearing song lyrics that tells me something, some great answer to a question that I have, then I'm doing something wrong, because this is what my friend does. Like I have a friend that she hears song lyrics, so she can text me a message saying, oh, I just heard this song and this message, and she just writes me a couple of lines, and it told me all of these things, blah blah blah. And that's fantastic. That's her. That's how life communicates to her or through her. And it's important. It's a beautiful way of well, it's a beautiful tool for her, how she works. That's not how it works for me. I don't think I ever gotten a message in a song, a lyric, anywhere. And to me, I just sort of hear things, and I don't know if it's really called hearing, because I don't hear it with my physical ears, like someone saying, "Psst, Jenny, blah, blah, blah." Well, I have like one time or two times, but it's more like I can feel a vibration in my ears, like they're starting to sort of, something's like fluttering just very intensely next to my ears. And then I can just feel like something is some thinking coming into my mind. And I feel like this thinking is not my thinking. It just comes, and it's very like focused. And I feel like, okay, so this is what just comes to me, and I tell whatever is come to me to that other person, and they would say, wow, okay, good, I understand, great. And maybe I have absolutely no idea, but it just comes like that. It can come like that. It doesn't mean it does like that all the time, but sometimes it comes like that. And so that's how my sensory system might be working. And to some of you that, if you find this video, some of you might have similar system to access knowledge or information, but some other will say, wow, that's weird, or that's strange, or oh, I wish I would have that, or something. But remember that you have your system, and that's very important in this time that we are in. We each have our own system. We each have our own uniqueness. We each have our own unique connection. We are not here to be the same. We're here to be connected. We are oneness. We are all parts of Source, and we are all able to channel Source. And the more we step into our heart to authentically be who we are, and to express what is alive inside of us, the more we do that, the more clear our information system becomes, the more clear our channel becomes, the more easy it is for us to access and to relate, and also to drop things and to step into vibration and into what we like and what we long for, and so on. And maybe I'm jumping now, but I think I didn't finish saying that many of us spiritual people think that, so spirituality, it needs to be like this, and it's a dread being in the physical body, and so on. But we need to bring the body with us. If we forget the physical body, and if we forget the physical reality, then we're not accessing fully who we are and what is here for us to experience. So if we really want to come into present time and into a balance, we need to bring the physical body, and we need to start thinking of our physical reality as a denser version of spirituality. When we start thinking of physical reality as a denser version of spirituality, then we are accessing something that is important, because we are actually spiritual being having a human experience. We've heard that, many of us. And we are actually living, truthfully, we are living inside out. So we are creating our reality from inside of us. And what is inside of us will take place physically outside of us. But we have so many lifetimes been taught that everything is happening outside of us, and we need to just take it in and understand it and just process what is there, and try to do our best with what is there. And we just we cannot change anything. We just have to live with what is there. We cannot change what is there. Like, reality is an absolute fact. And this is not how I see it. I absolutely really do see reality as we know it is not at all an absolute fact. And we can change the reality that we are in. And when we start to understanding that, this is where the law of manifestation and the secret and all of those things, that's where they are talking to us. Like, I think when I first heard of The Secret, the film of The Secret and the book, by, I think Rhonda Burns is the one who, I think her name is Rhonda Burns. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyhow, when I heard it, I heard it, I was fascinated by it, and I tried to really understand it from outside, putting it in and trying to sort of struggle in making it happening into something that would change something, or that would do something, or that would access something. So I was doing it from outside and in. I was understanding it outside and in. And not many things happened for me, well, some, or randomly. And I manifested randomly. And I still am not finished with this understanding of the manifestation process. But I realize more and more deeply, the more I touch in upon my authentic self, and the more I start sharing things like this, and I start, well, when I stop trying to fit in, stop hiding myself, then it's like I'm accessing more and more of my higher reality. And when I step into my higher reality, and when I start listening to my own truth, finding what is there for me in this moment, and taking responsibility for myself, that this does not feel good, or oops, this creates a fear in me, or wow, I really like that, I really long for that. Even if the other one doesn't like that or long for that, I just at least express it. Then I take responsibility that this feels important to me. And the other one can say, I'm sorry, it doesn't feel important to me. And then I get to meet whatever comes through that. And so that's good. And the more I start doing this, it's like there is a resonance of things changing within me. It's like beautiful shifting going on, a beautiful resonance. And now that I'm moving my hands, I can feel the resonance moving also here in this collective that watches the movie, this YouTube film. And understanding from within that the reality I experience all around me is directly related to my resonance inside. And that I get to shift my experience of reality depending on my resonance, how I resonate with it, how it vibrates within me, how I think of it or feel it to be true. And if I don't like what is there, if I don't feel it to be true, well, maybe if I have like I used to have a time period where I felt like, oh, my husband and I were struggling. There is struggle between us because of his stress and because of my blah blah situation. And then so we are sort of struggling. And then I started to shifting my perspective or my resonance of it, and looking for what is there that has a higher vibration. What is there inside of me that needs to be addressed, and what are my thoughts about? Are these thoughts of, oh, we have struggle, are they supportive of what it is that I want? Or is this just this repetitive thinking, oh, we have struggle, or why is it so strugglesome that, or why doesn't he, or why do I always, or why do we never, or blah, blah, blah. That came in a period of time. When I started to like really pay attention to it, not just trying to sort of handle it, when I started to pay attention to it and seeing what is there, and are these words of mine, these thoughts of mine, are they providing anything for me that will activate what I want? I want for us to come back together. I want for us to reunite again. I want for us to be harmonious. I want for us to have a loving dialogue and connection, fun, great times together. So am I doing the energy for that with this kind of thinking, with this kind of feeling, with this kind of, okay, so then I seal myself off, or okay, yeah, well, I understand that I'm a bit sealed off because he sounds so stressed now, and when he sounds like that, then I can't cope with it. So when I started to shift this into what is there, and what kind of thoughts can I bring into this instead, and what kind of feelings do I want to bring into my reality of this instead, then things naturally just became different. They just became easier for us, and the struggle, well, ceased. And because I shifted something. And we can do this. We can all consciously do this with whatever is there when we start living from within. When we start to look from within, what are my stories here? What am I talking about constantly and all the time? What am I telling myself about myself, or about the other, or about the circumstances? Am I just struggling with the circumstances? And am I holding on to the struggle of the circumstances? So there are so many things for us to look into in the physical world. And when we can see that all of these things are spiritual, and there are possibilities for us to grow spiritually, to grow soul-wise, to expand consciously and our consciousness, and to start have things that are in the way for us full off, and things that are not serving us anymore. Stories like, for me, oh, we are so struggling when he is stressed, and it's a story that I was holding on to for some reason, consciously or unconsciously. So start paying attention what is going on. And if you start paying attention to your physical reality, your physical world, your physical body and being, and start to brighten yourself up, starting to raise your vibration, what is here today. And I found very true in myself is that I used to, when I felt like down, because I think everyone has periods when we feel like oh God, and then we come up again, and then we can have a peak and come very high up, and then we can go, oh no, it feels heavy again. And I think all of us has periods when we feel down. It can be due to our hormones, how we sleep, what we pick up in the collective. It can be, the full moon. It can be what we have eaten. It can be whatever is awake inside of us and whatever needs to be addressed. And it can be some timeline since before that just comes to the surface that we need to see, or just to need to honor, and then just have it melt into life and love and expansion. So, but I forgot where I was going. Sorry. But there was something I was going with that. Anyhow, so we need to come back home to ourselves, anchor in, and when we see our physical reality as a spiritual reality, a denser version of spiritual reality, and we start doing the work and not fleeing from it, not trying to avoid it or to contract ourselves that we're in it. Oh, I just realized where I was. So I realized that when I've been in those contracted states and those lower states where I felt like, oh my God, this is heavy, I don't want. And then I know intellectually by now I have so many tools, and I know that I need to raise my vibration. But when I'm here and I know I need to raise my vibration because this is where I want to be, this part can feel like, oh, I don't want to do the work and I don't want to do that. It feels all heavy. I just want to stay in this sort of misery state, or in this tiredness, or in this grumpiness, or, well, it's no use anyhow. I can go into those things. I think many of us can relate to that. So what we tend to do, what I tended to do before was, okay, so I just go on staying there, maybe the entire day. Like, okay. But when I started realizing that, I'm actually wanting to stay down in the pit. And that can be okay. Sometimes we actually need to stay down in the pit and just hold ourselves there and just love ourselves in the pit, in the darkness and in the heaviness, in the laziness, in the self-condemnation, in the struggle, and in blah blah. Whatever is there, we need to also just bring that into the love of ourselves. But when we know that we have done that enough, and we say, okay, so it's time to raise our vibration and to do something that lifts us up into something that is better for us. And we just need to sort of go out and do that, whatever it is. If you need to go have a swim, or take a walk, or play with the child, or water your plants, or something that makes you start the stepping out of the pit or stepping up the ladder till you are where you want to. It's the first step that is the heaviest, and the step that you resist the most, because the density, you are in a density. So when you want to step into something more expansive, something less dense, you need to start taking steps out of the density, and that is in your hands to do. You have the possibility to do that. You have it. You don't have to all the time go to some kind of an expert or some kind of other person other than you. Sometimes it's necessary for that, but it doesn't mean that it needs to be that all the time. And much of the time, it is not necessary. We can at least start the process of trying to move up the ladder, move out of the density, move out of the pit, move up from the pit. And whatever that is for you, moving out of that and stepping the ladder and those things, you start doing that, and you start doing it now. Whenever you find that, and you just muscle up some kind of energy to, okay, I'll just have to start taking the first step. And the first step can actually be just like stretching your arms, yawning, or just shrugging and shredding a bit of like, that energy, of like, that heaviness. And shake your nervous system, allow some motion to come into your body, because many times it's like we have this stagnant energy. It becomes a stagnant energy, and the stagnant energy becomes a density or a pit or something, a low vibrational experience for us. But as soon as we started to climbing up, the easier it will be to climb that higher and higher, and then eventually we feel like very oh, okay, so I'm back again. Now I have the energy to start doing whatever was on my to-do list or in my wanting to experience category. So you have the tools to be what you are longing for. It is in your grasp. It is there. It is within you. We access all of these things from within. We live inside and out. That's where we actually do live. But many of us think that we live outside and in. And that's also what many of us think it's foreign to go within, or that it's strange for these people that they go within. What's that about? Isn't that a bit hocus pocus, or isn't it more important to pay attention to the politics or to the world economy? Isn't it more important to know what's going on in the news? So going within seems like something of a hobby or something to do only, well, maybe sometimes, because it might be interesting. To me, it can be a way of thinking of it. I meet so many people. I've been living among the people. I've been living in the so-called reality where I thought that is what I was supposed to do. And all of me was just saying, I need to go within, I need to be within, I need to work from within. And all of my time, I've been thinking I was sort of wrong or sort of strange, or that I needed to fit in. And I was sort of trying to mold myself and squeeze myself into the box of fitting in and doing what all the people were doing and so on. But now is the time to be authentic. And being authentic is not fitting in. Whether you fit in or not, it's not important. It's important that you step into who you are, whatever is there. And whatever is there is always in the present. It's always here in the now, whatever is here now. What is alive now? And I think this is super important in the time that we are in, that to keep some kind of stability, to keep some kind of stability in all of these shifts that are going on inside of us. We are being upgraded, we are being bombarded from the solar flares, from the sun, from the earth, the Schumann resonances. We are being bombarded from society and from the news. We are being bombarded from within our own growing and our own expansion, because we are expanding, whether we like it or not. Because some of us, we don't like it, so we're trying to not expand, but we are still expanding. So it becomes a struggle between coming out into expansion and trying to hold against that. And no, I don't want to change. I want everything in myself to be what it has always been, and it's not going to work. And we are not going to be able to hold things the way they have always been, because that's not possible any longer. It used to be much more possible because the frequencies on the planet were more stable in a bandwidth like this, but now they're not. We are in a time where the frequencies span from the highest of high and the very, very lowest of low, and it's possible to experience a move like this in a day, and it's everywhere, and it's like this really, really big time. So it's not anymore within this spectrum that things are working. So how can we keep a balance? Well, the balance is within inside of you, and each one of us, we have our own way of finding a balance. And how can we feel some kind of knowing what is there, knowing and understanding or trusting? I think it's within you. You have that. And we cannot trust financial situations or politics situations or any kind of system at this time, because they are changing. We are changing from an old way of functioning into a new way of functioning. It's like when we move into a medieval castle that has no plumbing, when the tap will not work anymore. If we bring in a tap in that medieval castle with no plumbing, it's not possible to use the tap. And so if we have these old pipes or anything, but the modern, or we don't have the electricity, or we have electricity but they are from the late 1800s, like 1800 or 1902, and so that's not the Wi-Fi that we have is not compatible. So it's not compatible. The old and the new are not compatible. We need to exchange the old things if we're going to function. We need to exchange what does not function anymore for us, and what functions for us is individual. And we need to really sort of hold ourselves in that okay, it's individual, and that is a collective thing. That is something that is something for us all, that it is individual. And to starting to know and understand that, and to land into that, anchor into that, and to take steps from there. Okay, so I am an individual, and this collective thing, or the old thing, it might not work for me, but it might work for my neighbor a little longer. Okay, good for the neighbor. Okay, good for me. So I will start to find something that resonates better with me, with my system. Maybe the neighbor has the old TV that needs the antenna on the ceiling, so they can still watch the TV, but you don't have that kind of TV, so you need to have, I don't know, Wi-Fi systems to access whatever you want to watch. And so just look into what is there for you, and understand that you are unique, you are an individual, and what fits for you will maybe or maybe not fit for the other, and what fits for the other will or will not fit for you. So you pick out the seeds that are alive for you, wherever you are. Whether you listen to this YouTube, whether you're still here, and or if you see or feel or listen somewhere else, trust that when you sort of slow down the chattering of the mind, the babbling mind, when you slow that down, I have to understand, and why is this, and how come? When you slow that down and just come into present. Presence is in your body. It's in the now. It's always in the now. It can never be anywhere else. It's always in the now. So when you slow yourself down enough to come into the now, that's when you're going to start to find what resonates within you. You're going to find your answers. You're going to find your speciality of who you are, and who or where or what you resonate with, or wants to access, or wants to listen to, or pick in on, or to let go of. It's in the now. It's not in the understanding. The mind is a tool. It's important, it's great, it's a fantastic tool, but it's not who you are. It's not where all the answers are. Okay? Well, I just heard so many things I could talk about, but this video is already very long. So I think I'll end it with this. And I hope you found something in it that resonated with you. Most of all, I just want to really tell you that you are the expert. It's accessible for you to find expertise within you, or to find at least answers. If you don't want to put the word expertise or expert on you, because I don't want to put that on me, but you have what is necessary for you to level up. You have what is there for you to live the best possible way for you, for who you are, and that you are changing and you are shifting and finding a balance in all of that, it might be more easy than you think. I have been thinking, I was just going to say, oh, it might not be so easy, or it can be hard. That was my old way of saying it. But as I spoke about earlier, what kind of attitude do I have? What stories do I tell? So if I start shifting that, if I'm aware of my own way of saying things, which I was in this moment. So I became aware, and so I instead say, it can be really easy to anchor into yourself and into who you are and into a balance in this, well, world that seems very turbulent. Maybe it's not turbulent at all. Maybe that is just a story from the mind, because the mind does not recognize itself in this time of change. So maybe this is the actual essence of this message. Maybe you just go back and listen to that part again, because that was the most important message, I think, through all of it. That you change the story. This is hard to find a balance to. Maybe it's just so easy to find a balance. Maybe it's just so easy to access harmony. Maybe it's just very simple. And I will actually start practicing that. I just felt immediately as I said it, as I spoke it, everything just calmed down, like, wow. And I just sort of very much entered into here and now, and I can still feel how stories that I've been keeping, they are dropping. I can feel it, like really boop, and then choop, and then beep, something else. So they're dropping the stories that I've been having and keeping that was connected to the attitude that I had, that it can be very hard. I thought it was hard to find a balance in something that I thought was a turmoil. And I just feel it becomes silent. The story just became silent around that. So experiment what happens for you when you start saying the opposite of what you have been saying. That it is easy to find balance in the world as it is today. It is very, very easy. And it is very easy because the balance is always here. It's within. And it's very easy to access within ourselves. We come into the now moment. We come into the present moment. And we just tell ourselves that it's so easy to access and to balance ourselves and to feel one with the center of life. Now I can see, I see a picture. It's like when we have, these earth globes. And so we have this axe. I don't know what it's called. In Swedish it would call an axel. It's like a pole through the earth, and where the globe would be spinning around this stick or this pole. So you can just see this center pole, and everything just came into the center. And so everything is just maybe moving, maybe not moving, but in the center, when we center ourselves, it's very easy. And so the world might be spinning, might not be spinning, the stories might be there, might not be there, experiences might be there, might not be there. Well, See what happens for you, because you are the expert on you. There is only your experience, because you are here as a human being in a human experience, and what is here is multidimensional. What is accessible for you? What do you choose for you? What do you choose to focus on? What do you want to focus on? What are you ready to let go of? So just look into that and know that it's the truth of it all is inside of you, and that it's not right, it's not wrong. You can feel if it's right for you or if it's wrong for you by knowing, do you feel expanded, lifted up, or do you feel contracted, pushed down? Whenever something contracts you, pushes you down, constricts you, controls you, tells you there is only one way, well, I think you should maybe look into what can be instead of that. But that's a choosing. You can stay in that kind of mindset or thinking or environment or relationship, but you can also look into what is there if you look into the expansion, into what is raising your being, into what's making you feel expanded, joyful, and follow the journey there, and that is within your grasp. No one can tell you what lifts you up. I cannot tell you that hugging your dog will lift you up. Maybe that is not true at all for you. Maybe it only puts you into fear because you're afraid of dogs or gives you an allergy because you are allergic to dogs. So only you know, and you have that. That's within your power. And remember that. Don't give it away to some expert, to some guru, to some teacher, to something that is outside of you. If you find it outside of you, look into what is there, find the seeds or the plants that are there for you. Use your discernment to know, is this for me? Is this not for me? Is this maybe for me but for later? Or is this something that I want to keep for someone else's sake and pass it on to them? Because that can be very, very good as well. So with this, I think we're finished, and I'm really happy to have spent all of this time with you, and I'm happy that if you are still here, that you had the patience. And if you please comment, did you get any kind of insights from this? Did you get some kind of what was there for you? Did you find a seed in this message for you somehow? Did you find something that rung a bell or that resonated within you? That would be lovely to hear it. And if you find any kind of value in what I do, please subscribe and follow. And maybe you can also share it with others that you think might have something to gain from this video or from things that I do. And if you want to know more about me, you can find me on Instagram, soulmother.se, or Facebook, just SoulMother. And I have a Swedish podcast, and it's called SoulMother från hjärtat. SoulMother från hjärtat. SoulMother from the heart. But that's purely Swedish. And if you want to know more about the healing works that I do, or the coaching sessions that I do, or the frequency works, well, you can just write to me or comment here, or find me. I wish you a fantastic day or evening whenever you find this video, and listen to it, find how it resonates within you. Remember that, do you feel expanded or do you feel contracted? That is where you know your way forward. Your way forward will always be an expansion way. Your way forward, if you're walking the path of the soul, of the heart, of consciousness, of expansion and love and spirituality and wisdom. Maybe all spirituality is not all of that, but the way I look at spirituality, if you're walking the path of light and love and and compassion and, well, peace, then you find the path following what expands you, what lights you up, what brings you into passion and joy. When you step into hiding and contraction and fear, just see if you want to stay there. So, all the best to you, and thank you so much for your time and for your listening and for your energy. And please, please, please write a comment to me. I would love to hear from you. And take good care. Bye for now.